Shalom everyone, this is Kazak Eliyahu Yasharal, and we continue to look at Babylon. And today we are going to look at which nations are going to destroy Babylon, because this is very relevant because it is right in the news right now. And we will see what is coming up. So we have done several videos about Babylon, fleeing out of the midst of Babylon. But today, we are going to look at the nations who are going to destroy Babylon, because we see in the news this is stirring up right now, because people are questioning, what does it mean to flee out of the midst of Babylon? When should we leave Babylon, etc.? If you know the nations who are going to destroy Babylon, then you can keep your eyes out for what is happening. And so we go to the Bible. And we begin in the book of Jeremiah chapter 51, and we go to the verses that we know oh so well. Jeremiah 51 verse 5. For Israel hath not been forsaken, nor Yahudah of his allure of Yahuwah Sabaoth, though their land was filled with sin against the Holy One of Yasharal. Flee out of the midst of Babylon, and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of Yahuwah's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense. So we have to remind our viewers that in the destruction of Babylon, we are not to be in Babylon, being spectators in Babylon, because he said he has not forsaken our people, so we must flee, so that we are not cut off in her iniquity. But let's go more specifically to verse 11, that tells us the nations that are going to destroy Babylon. Make bright the arrows, gather the shields. Yahuwah hath raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes. For his device is against Babylon to destroy it, because it is the vengeance of Yahuwah, the vengeance of his temple. But before we go there, we have to go to the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 9 to 11, to get a context of why, going to something that has happened already, we will get the understanding of what that which is to come. The thing that hath been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. So whatever is going to happen has already happened, and what is going to be done has already been done. Is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new? It hath been already of old time, which was before us. Nothing new with the destruction of Babylon. It has already happened. So all we have to do is look at what happened. There is no remembrance of former things, neither shall there be any remembrance of things that are to come with those that shall come after. So we don't remember how Babylon was destroyed. That is why we go to the scriptures. Okay? Because we in ourselves can't remember the former things, because one of the things is that he hid it from us, but it's there in the Bible. So we go to the destruction of Babylon in Jeremiah 51 verse 11. And it says, make bright the arrows, gather the shields. Yahuwah hath raised up the spirit of the king of the Medes, for his device is against Babylon to destroy it, because it is the vengeance of Yahuwah, the vengeance of his temple. So it is the ruach of the kings, the leaders of the Medes, who are going to destroy Babylon, as they did back then under, is it Cyrus? I'm always confusing. Which one came first, Cyrus or Darius? I think it is Cyrus the Great who came first and destroyed Great Babylon that Nebuchadnezzar said he had built. Okay? But it was given to him by the Most High. But Cyrus the Great acknowledged it, that the Most High had given him the kingdom, given the kingdom into his hand. So it is the spirit of the kings of the Medes. So who are the Medes today? Who are the Medes today? And we see the Medes, the Medo-Persians. These are the Iranians, the people of Iran. But also, some of our people is going to be used to destroy Babylon as well. Now, speaking about Babylon, he says, they are vanity, the work of errors. In the time of their visitation, they shall perish. He's speaking about the idols of Babylon. Then he said, the portion of Jacob is not like them, for he is the former of all things, And Israel is the rod of his inheritance. Yahuwah Sabaoth is his name. He is going to use some of his people to destroy Babylon as well. Thou art my battle axe and weapons of war. He's speaking about the Israelites. You are my battle axe and weapons of war. For with thee will I break in pieces the nations, and with thee will I destroy kingdoms. And with thee will I break in pieces the horse and his rider, and with thee will I break in pieces the chariot and his rider. With thee also will I break in pieces man and woman, and with thee will I break in pieces old and young, and with thee will I break in pieces the young man and the maid. I will also break in pieces with thee the shepherd and his flock. And with thee will I break in pieces the husbandman and his yoke of oxen. And with thee will I break in pieces captains and rulers. And I will render unto Babylon and to all the inhabitants of Chaldea all the evil that they have done in Zion in your sight, saith Yahuwah. So some of his people will be used to destroy Babylon. He says it's going to be done in their sight. I don't know how he's going to do it, because his people would have fled from the midst of Babylon. And probably it means that his people will be on the outskirts looking in, because in the book of Micah 4:10, it tells you that you will be in Babylon, but you are going to flee to the fields. So his people will be on the outside looking in on the destruction of Babylon, because Babylon is going to be made desolate in the end. So let us continue to look at the nations that are going to. So he's going to use the Medes, and he's going to use his people. In verse 28 again, he said it. Prepare against her the nations with the kings of the Medes. So there we have again the nations. So there are going to be other nations with the kings of the Iranians, the captains thereof, and all the rulers thereof, and all the land of his dominion. And the land shall tremble and sorrow, for every purpose of Yahuwah shall be performed against Babylon, to make the land of Babylon a desolation without an inhabitant. So those of us who have fled would have fled and have been on the outside looking in. It will be desolate. So we have the Medes and we have the nations. So let's take a look now at some other nations that it is said will deal with Babylon. Jeremiah 50, verse 8, again telling his people to come out of Babylon. Remove out of the midst of Babylon, and go forth out of the land of the Chaldeans, and be as the he-goats before the flocks. Lead the goats while you're going. Lead them out. Okay? For lo, I will raise and cause to come against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country. And they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken. Their arrows shall be as of a mighty expert man. None shall return in vain. And Chaldea shall be a spoil. All that spoil her shall be satisfied, saith Yahuwah. So an assembly of great nations from the north country. That means Iran will be joined by its allies from the north country. And where do we have the north country? We have Russia from the north, possibly China as well from the north country. And these are the enemies of the kings of Babylon, the beast system, NATO, which is the beast, and the seven heads of the beast, United States, France, Italy, Germany, Canada, United Kingdom, Japan. All of these are the enemies of Iran and Russia and China. The other day, United States declared that China was a threat to them. It's like declaring China as an enemy. And this is the assembly of nations, and this is what we see assembling in the world today. And we are going to show a video. We're going to share a video that is going to show you that it is happening right now. Since, what was it, this week, last week?
Meanwhile, Joe Biden and Yair Lapid have signed a security pledge in Jerusalem, reaffirming their united front against Iran. The pledge is called the Jerusalem-US-Israel Strategic Partnership Joint Declaration. It plans to never allow Iran to acquire a nuclear weapon and plans to address Iran's destabilizing activities across West Asia.
Today, you and I also discussed America's commitment to ensuring Iran never obtains a nuclear weapon. This is a vital security interest to both Israel and the United States, and I would add, for the rest of the world as well. I continue to believe that diplomacy is the best way to achieve this outcome, and will continue to work with Israel to counter other threats from Iran throughout the region, including support for terrorism, ballistic missile program that continues, and the proliferation of weapons to terrorists and proxies like Hezbollah.
This is a show of unity by allies long divided over diplomacy with Tehran. The pledge reaffirmed U.S. support for Israel's regional military edge and the Jewish state's ability to defend itself by itself. The United States says it will never allow Iran to acquire a nuclear weapon, adding that it is prepared to use national power to ensure that outcome comes to be.
Now, Iran on Thursday issued a warning to the United States as President Biden and the Israeli Prime Minister Yair Lapid signed a joint pledge to deny Iran any kind of nuclear arms. Now, this show of unity between the United States and its very close ally in the Middle East prompted the Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi to respond very strongly to the statement by the American President. Listen in.
به امریکایی‌ها و به متحدان آنها در منطقه من بگم که ملت بزرگ ایران هیچ گونه ناامنی و بحران رو در منطقه نمیپذیرد و هر گونه خطای امریکایی‌ها را و به ایالات متحده امریکا و همپیمانانش در منطقه بگویم هر گونه خطایی در این منطقه با پاسخ سخت و پشیمان کننده‌ای مواجه خواهد شد.
Now, Iran has blamed the United States and also its regional allies in the region, that is the State of Israel, for stoking tensions. This comes after the United States and the State of Israel signed an interesting joint pledge on Thursday. And this pledge was to never allow Iran to acquire a nuclear weapon. Washington and the State of Israel have long expressed some very serious concerns about Iran's nuclear capabilities. Iran has maintained that it has no ambition whatsoever of making a nuclear bomb.
The big breaking news that we are covering is out of Iran, and they've said, this is, I'll read it for you directly. This is the advisor said they're capable of building a nuclear bomb. They haven't necessarily decided whether or not they're going to, but they have the ability to. And Jordan, this is a big news for obviously a host of reasons, specifically coming out of just right now, the Middle East trip that President Biden just made. This is deeply concerning.
This is why he was meeting with our second part of the reason why he was meeting with our allies in the Gulf, not just to beg for more oil for the United States, but also to hopefully continue to build the alliance of countries against Iran and to build that alliance. But what we know now is that Iran is at a point which we were all feared was coming very soon, where they've got all the capabilities they need.
So it's developing before our very eyes. But let us continue to show that in Isaiah 21, I think I missed Isaiah 13. It is also in Isaiah 13, I think. But let's go to Isaiah 21, verse 1 to 2. Isaiah 21. It says, "The burden of the desert of the sea, as whirlwinds in the south pass through, as it cometh from the desert, from a terrible land. A grievous vision is declared unto me. The treacherous dealer dealt treacherously, and the spoiler spoileth. Go up, O Elam, besiege, O Media, all the sighing thereof have I made to cease." This is speaking about Babylon. Elam, where is Elam today? And the topic is fallen. Fallen is Babylon. So Elam will also defeat Babylon. And if you check the map for Elam, Elam is in Iran today. So Media and Elam are both in Iran today. There is no doubt that that which has happened is going to happen again. It was also in, let me see. Yes, verse 17. "Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in them. Their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. And Babylon, the splendor of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldeans' excellency, shall be as when Alua overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah." All right? So that is it. Iran is going to be the nation that is going to destroy Babylon. We are at the time when all of these prophecies are being fulfilled, as we have been telling people. It is all coming together in the prophecies. So, Iran and its allies, Russia, etc., they are going to give Babylon a whooping. They are going to be the downfall of America. And the Americans are just playing in their hands. They are just doing it because the Most High is directing them to do it, and they cannot help it. They have to do it. And messing with Iran is the last thing that Babylon wants to do. The last thing that NATO wants to do, because they are going to give Babylon a whooping as prophesied. As prophesied. The Iranians and the Russians, etc., and company, that group of nations are going to destroy Babylon. All right? So keep looking out for the prophecies as they fulfill. This is Kazakh Eliyahu Yasharal here. Thank you. You can check out our website, KazakhEliyahu.com, or our mother website, justaword.org, for teachings, etc., and updates on what is happening today, on understanding the word as we follow the way unto righteousness, unto eternal life. All right, please like, share our videos, and thank you once again for watching. All right, if you have not yet subscribed, please subscribe. All right, shalom.